Denial has a name, Ingabire Juliene. When claims that the RPF Inkotanyi and President Paul Kagame are responsible for dividing Rwanda, she is not offering analysis. She is practicing genocide denial through historical erasure. By stripping Rwanda's tragedy of its long and well-documented pre-1990 roots, she attempts to invert responsibility and recast perpetrators' ideology as a reaction, rather than a cause. This is not an innocent mistake. It is a familiar strategy. Ingabire, widely known for denying or minimizing the genocide against the Tutsi, is also the daughter of Safari Stanley, a convicted genocidaire. That fact explains the persistent attempt to rewrite history in a way that dissolves responsibility for crimes that have already been judicially established. Ethnic hatred did not begin with Kagame or the RPF. The central flaw in Ingabire's argument is chronological anti-Tutsi violence did not begin in 1990. As early as 1959, Rwanda witnessed organized pogroms against Tutsis. Homes were burned, families were massacred, and entire communities were expelled solely because of their identity. At that time, Paul Kagame was 2 years old, and the RPF in Inkotanyi did not exist. This violence produced hundreds of thousands of refugees and marked the birth of an ideology that defined Tutsis as enemies and foreigners. To suggest that today's leadership and gun-it ethnic hatred is to deny the historical record documented by missionaries, colonial archives, and international observers. Kagame and Tutsi families were victims, not architects. Ingabire Juliene conveniently omits that Paul Kagame himself, like countless other Tutsi families, was a victim of this early violence. Many were killed, others were forced into exile, not because of politics, but because they were Tutsi. This mass displacement shaped an entire generation of stateless Rwandans long before the RPF existed. Ignoring this reality is not critique, it is denial. The Hutu 10 Commandments, a blueprint of hatred. It is also historically false to suggest that the RPF or Paul Kagame created the ideological foundations of ethnic division. The so-called Hutu 10 Commandments, which institutionalized hatred and exclusion of Tutsis, were not written by the RPF or by Kagame. They were authored by Joseph Habyarimana Gitala, a Hutu extremist ideologue. These texts openly encourage segregation, dehumanization, and discrimination decades before 1994! This ideology did not emerge as a reaction to the RPF. The RPF emerged as a reaction to it. The forgotten massacre in the 1960s. Following independence, violence against Tutsis did not stop in 1962. In the years that followed, mass killings occurred, particularly targeting Tutsis in Bufundu and Banyiri in the southern province of Rwanda. These atrocities were so severe that international media of the time openly described them as genocidal acts. Once again, Paul Kagame and the RPF were not present. The 1973 to 1994 period violence without the RPF. Ingabire Juliene also ignores the violence surrounding the 1973 coup d'etat that brought Juvenal Habyarimana to power. Political purges followed. Former leaders of the Kayibanda regime were killed, and Tutsis were again targeted, expelled, and excluded solely because of their identity. All of this occurred before the RPF, and Kotani was founded in 1987. Why the RPF was formed. The RPF did not arise to divide Rwanda. It was formed by refugees and descendants of refugees who had been denied the right to return, denied citizenship, and denied dignity for decades by extremist regimes that defined Tutsis as outsiders in their own country. To erase this context is to falsify history. Rwanda's history is not a political slogan to be reshaped for convenience. It is written in the blood of innocent victims and in the sacrifices of those who ended a long cycle of exclusion and mass violence.